What's up, y'all? Odeed here once again, aka Big Jake. Today we're gonna do some top sirloin steaks, kind of like a steak on a budget kind of thing. For those of you that don't want to go too fancy or don't have the money to get a fillet or a ribeye or something like that, you can take these top sirloins and they'll come out great. Let's get the video started. All right, y'all, let's get to marinating on these steaks. These are beef loin top sirloin steaks, boneless. They are Angus. Although, just go to your supermarket and get your basic select beef. You don't have to go prime or anything like that. We're kind of doing steak on a budget here. These were $7.99 a pound. So let's get the package cracked open here. And instead of using the usual salt, pepper, and garlic salt or garlic powder like I normally do, because there's no fat or very little fat in these steaks, you're gonna need to add a little bit of flavor there yourself just to kind of help out. So what we have here in this Pyrex is 1/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and about 2 tablespoons of whatever basic rub you use. Mix it all together with a spoon. Get yourself one of these fancy plastic bags like this. So you just pour this in here. Make sure you get all the rub out there. That's all you really do, and you're going to zip it up and let it sit in the bag for an hour to 2 hours at most. There's a lot of salt in the Worcestershire sauce and the soy sauce. By the way, this is low sodium, or I should say lower sodium soy sauce, but again, a lot of salt in here, so you don't want to let it sit overnight or anything like that. It'll be too much. So yeah, hour to 2 hours, and then we'll go set up the grill. All right, y'all, it's been about 2 hours. We let these top sirloin steaks marinate inside of that Ziploc bag in the fridge. I then took them out and added another layer of rub on them because, again, these do not have a lot of fat on them, so you're gonna have to get your flavor from your spices and whatnot. I have my Weber Kettle over here and some Royal Oak lump burning down in that chimney, and that's about ready to go. I'm gonna make a 2-section fire or 2-zone fire on here, one direct, one indirect, and we will start the steaks on the direct side, give them a sear, and then we'll go from there. Okay, the grill is ready to go. The Weber Dome temp is reading 425, so it is nice and hot. All right, let's throw these sirloins on. We're gonna do the sear first. Once the sear is done, then I'll move them over to the indirect side to finish them off. Whenever I'm cooking on my Weber grill, I always like to do the sear first because the charcoal is the hottest when you first put it on. And I don't want your, or you don't want your charcoal to kind of like, kind of putter out at the end, and then you don't have enough heat. So we're gonna do the sear first, 2 minutes aside, and then once the sear is done, we'll move them over to the indirect side just to finish them up and get them up to the temp that we want. On these sirloins, you don't want to overcook these things. If you do, they will be tough. So you're looking at an internal temp of around 130, and then they will rest to 135, which will give you medium rare. All right, y'all, 2 minutes in, let's give them a flip. And as you can see, I am searing these with the lid off for 2 reasons. Number one is, again, as I said, I am searing these at this moment. So I really want kind of each side to cook. And then when we get to the point where they're indirect, then I'll put the lid on. The other reason why I'm keeping the lid off now is you get a lot of airflow into there, and it's keeping the charcoal nice and hot. So those are the 2 reasons why I'm doing it with the lid off. You can put the lid on now if you want. It's really up to you. This is just kind of my style. So we'll be back in another 2 minutes. All right, we're going to flip and turn these. Basically just like that. We may end up with some grill marks on these. We may not. It may just have a nice char on it, but I always turn it just because I think that way if you do get some grill marks, it kind of looks nice. If you want for sure grill marks on it, you can get a grill grate or something like that. I personally feel grill marks are more for appearance than taste. If you just get a nice char on the outside of your meat, it'll taste just as good as if you have the grill marks. So we'll do another probably minute this time. Flip it over, do another minute, and then we'll take it to the indirect side. All right, 1 more minute has gone. This will be our final flip on the sear side. Got a little bit of grill mark there. So 1 more minute on here, and then I'm going to check the internal temp of them after that. I'm going to pretty much guarantee you that this one is not as close to being done as this one is, because this one is a thinner cut. And whenever you buy packets of meat, two or more pieces, basically, keep that in mind because this one's going to finish up before this one does. Okay, I believe the searing process is done at this point. Let's flip them over, see what they look like. Got a nice char on both sides. That should be good. Let's take the temp of this one. As I said, this one will probably be not as close to done. Yeah, see, this one's still really cool on the inside. We're looking at 70 degrees. This one here, 102, 101, 100. That's going down. We're about probably 95. So this one we're going to pull it farther away from the heat. This one we're going to put it closer like that, but not direct anymore because you don't want to get any more kind of sear on there and burn it. So we'll set it like this. We're going to now put the lid on because we want that convection heat so we can finish up these steaks. Alright, it's been about 3 minutes with these cooking indirectly, and by the way, this grill is hot. It's now up to about 525 degrees. So keep that in mind. If you're cooking at a lower temp, this is going to take longer. Let's check these out. You still got to flip them even though you're doing indirect. It's just a good idea. This one looks like it's getting close to done here. It's right about 120, so we'll keep on that one. I'm gonna guess this one's probably at around 100. That one's still at 99, so let's do this one a little closer, this one a little farther. We're gonna go another 3 minutes. All right, through the magic of low budget video editing, that last 3 minutes has passed by quickly, hasn't it? Let's check this out. I'm gonna assume that this one here is probably done, if not very close. Yep, this one is done. So let's take this one off completely here. We'll let that one rest. Let's flip this one over. 118. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give it another 2 minutes over here on the direct side, and then I bet that will be done. Both of them will be done, and then we will go inside and let them rest for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll slice them up. That's right. All right, last 3 minutes on the big piece. Let's check this out. Flip it over. Ooh, that one's nice and charred right there. Gotta turn the thermostat pin on to make sure it's working. Yep, 130 and 129. We're gonna call that done. All right, y'all, steaks are done. They've rested for about 10 minutes. Let's take one of these off, and we're gonna do something kind of unusual that you don't normally see when you serve a steak. Usually you take a steak like this, give it to the person you're serving it to, whether it be yourself or someone else, and let them cut it up. That's not what we're gonna do today. What we're gonna do with these sirloins is we're going to cut it thinly and at an angle. And the reason that I'm doing that is it makes it a bit more tender in my personal opinion. Hopefully your guests don't find that weird. If they do, you know where the door is, y'all. This is the way that I like to cut them. Now you're probably asking why at an angle. To be perfectly honest, I have no idea. I just saw a video a long time ago myself. I believe it was on Food Network, and the gentleman was cutting it this way, so I have always done it this way. Whatever the science is behind it, I can't even really tell you, but it does seem to work. So cut this piece of fat off right here. There you go, nice medium rare on the inside. Pulls apart pretty easy. Oh yeah, get a little bit of salt. Some nice flavor from the soy and the Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of that rub. So this is how you want to do it, people. And just continue to cut the steak up like this, and you are good to go.